Jonathan Gibbs circling back again with Jay Kilgore here at the Door Convention Show. The solar market is growing, expanding, and one of the things I feel like is salespeople are always looking for that new marketplace. Where can I expand? Where can I go? And you have an EPC, One Solar, in solar for a number of years, and there are some really challenging marketplaces that you guys are really, really, really good in. Tell us about your key marketplaces.
So One Solar's key markets here in Salt Lake. We started, founded the company here about 9 years ago. We dug our roots real deep here for about 5 years.
Now, a lot of people say they're in Utah, and they put Utah on their website, and I'm no stranger to this. I've done this as well. But at the end of the day, it's not their trucks, it's not their people doing the install. In Utah, is it One Solar's installers going and doing the install?
Oh, come on. Yes, of course. It's one.
I got to ask.
Yeah. Any market that we are in, it's our employees, our trucks, our guys. We don't sub things out.
That's huge. So there's market accountability here locally in Utah for people that want to expand. And how's it going in Utah? Because there's a lot of sales orgs that obviously are based out of here. Their wives are here, their kids are here, they're going to school here, but they don't actually sell here. They spend a lot of time, a lot of money flying all over the country on 2-day blitz or for the entire summer. They leave their family for the entire summer. But the marketplace is actually good here. You can make a good income in Utah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've always felt like Utah's been a great market. Like I said, we started here, and so my mantra at the office is until I drive from my home to the office and I see a home, every home is solar, we're selling and installing here. Yeah. And so our strategy, like everyone has their own strategy, right? And our strategy has been, this is our home. We want to be one of the major players here. And we want to put resources in being a major player in Utah. And it wasn't until about 5 years in that we expanded to Las Vegas, and then a year later expanded to Denver. Yeah. So, we've kept everything really close to home until recently.
Now, I personally moved to Utah 2 years ago. I love it here. It is probably one of next to the Gold Coast, Australia, this is like my second most favorite place I've ever lived. And you would think with all these door-to-door companies that Utah would be like so saturated and people would be sick of it, but that's not what the sales organizations are finding here. What are the sales organizations finding when they knock doors around Utah?
The unique thing about Utah that I've found over the last 2 to 3 years is that there are a couple big kind of major players that really only focus on Utah. But like you said, a lot of companies in Utah that focus on Texas or Florida or you name it, right? They're doing 10-day blitzes and they're coming home for 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Well, because everyone knows they're in solar, those reps are going to put in a deal or two every month. So we created our strategy to say, hey, we're fine taking your 1 or 2 deals or his 3 or 4.
Oh, okay, interesting. So it's not just sales organizations that are based here. It's people that are traveling. It's just kind of like a supplemental income where they're home and they're just getting referrals.
They're home and their aunt wants solar, or they're at a soccer game and their buddy asked them about solar, so they sell them solar. So we get a lot of our volume spread between probably 10 or 15 sales teams. We don't have one dominant team that's giving us 50 deals a month. So, we again, it's spread out. Really,
so whether someone wants to go big here, there's a big opportunity here in Utah. It's really unsaturated. The doors are definitely not as hard as like Dallas or California or places like this that people are paying to travel to. Whether they want to commit to this marketplace or whether they just want to do stuff in their time off here, you guys are meeting that need for a lot of different sales orgs right now.
Either one. Yeah, we do have several teams that are only committed to Utah, and they do good volume. They do great. But yeah, a lot of our volume is teams that are literally just putting in 5 or 10 each. But when you have 10 of those, that's a good deal.
All right, well, let's pivot. Let's talk about a hard marketplace because I've been in solar for 11 years, so I'm no stranger to easy and soft marketplaces. I definitely look at Utah as a softer sales marketplace. But Vegas has been very hard. I mean, I've had sales organizations for 5 years in Vegas. This is a hard marketplace to sell in. And one of the very few things you can do to protect your sales organization in Las Vegas is get installs in fast, right? So talking about the speed of installs for One Solar in Las Vegas.
You have to install quickly there or your deal's gone, right? It's going to get stolen. It's going to get yanked. It's going to get resold somewhere else.
In the summer, when everybody's selling, how fast can you get this? How fast can you get these in?
Our average install time last year was 20 days.
That's amazing.
Right now, as sales dipped and we've got guys, we're installing right now in 3-4 days.
Hold on, you're getting 3-4 day installs in Las Vegas right now.
Right now, yeah.
In the winter.
Yeah, it's winter, right?
That's amazing.
So someone sells a deal, like we got guys waiting to install tomorrow. So because you can pull the permit over the counter and knock it out real quick. MPUs take a little bit longer there just because of the mass volume, but the market is super unique to salespeople in that it's very rarely blitzed. It's difficult to blitz there. The teams that are successful,
you got to anchor there.
The teams that are successful are anchored and grown and really dedicated to the, meeting every single day and really grinding and being strategic about where they're knocking and when.
Yeah.
And so that's our teams.
So this is for people who live there.
Yeah, our teams that have had massive success are there and grown there, and that's their primary focus.
This is probably the number one question I get is, where should I sell solar? This is the question I get like nonstop. And so this is good. I think it's a personal question. I think it's different depending on what people's family life is like and what their goals are. So you can live in Utah year round and sell. You can just sell here part-time. That works. But Vegas is not a marketplace you can do that. So you need a different market strategy. Vegas teams that you're seeing successful are people that live there, own the market, entrenched year round. All right, let's talk about another one that's a great place to sell in as a unique marketplace, but it's really challenging for installers. And this is the greater Denver area and the Colorado marketplace. What makes Colorado so difficult for installers? What is different about Colorado that isn't the same in a lot of other states?
This is a longer answer.
Well,
so
you could compress it so the sales guys understand when they pick an installer, why it's really important to pick someone who's licensed everywhere. Explain why Colorado is so difficult.
So for salespeople, it's incredibly difficult because every jurisdiction, and I want to say there's more than 40 jurisdictions in Colorado that we work with.
Yeah.
Every jurisdiction requires a license. So you have to basically transfer your license to every single city. That took us over a year to dial that in.
Yeah.
And then every city has different coding requirements. So it's about 30 to 40% of them require midpoint inspections. Some of them require a master electrician to be at the final inspection, depending upon which inverter you're selling. So everything has a tweak and an adjustment, and it's just trial by error. You got to just learn and grind. It's funny because, Denver's a mile-high city.
Yeah.
And I'm a big-time ultra trail runner. I run a ton. And inside our organization, we say that perfecting and owning Denver is like training at elevation.
Yeah.
It's like we are training at elevation where turn times are 60 days, 90 days. They just take longer. And we're learning how to manage the expectations with the homeowner, with the salespeople. That's a big part of that. Now that we've perfected it in Denver, and we haven't perfected it, we're getting there.
Yeah.
But we feel like we can really duplicate this in other markets while training at altitude.
So if you're a sales organization, it's not good enough to just say, what's your license? You can go to California and say, what's your license? Show me your license. If you're a sales organization and you want reliable installs in Colorado, you need to ask the company to show me your licenses.
Yes, and there's a bunch of strategy around that, right? If you're going to go sell, you need to make sure that EPC is licensed in
all the areas.
That city you're going to go knock in.
That's right.
Or in the one you're going to go sell in the next day. Because if they're not, go ahead and add 2 months to your turnaround time.
So if you're looking at setting up installs in Colorado, right, it's a heavy lift. People that have been in the solar industry for years, they know this. There's a reason why a lot of the big companies don't go to Colorado or don't go there in-house.
Or they've left.
There's a lot of big companies that have opened Colorado and then just kind of quietly closed it in the middle of the night. That's a good point. Let's talk about something else that I experienced in Colorado that's really unique that I think a lot of people are not prepared for. Colorado, I've had sales organizations that have sold in more than 20 different states. Colorado was, what we noticed on the stat sheet was the biggest to-call close market we've ever experienced. It was a really intellectual marketplace. In and around Denver it's one of the highest cities for college degrees in the United States. And there was a real intellectual process that we saw from people selling solar. Are you guys seeing that too? That it's not really a big one-call close marketplace. There people will buy with one sit, but there's a lot of 2 touches, 3 touches to get a customer in Colorado?
Yeah, I think that's true in general. In general, that's true. Of course, there's your sales strategy and how you sell.
Sure.
But in general, yeah, it's going to be. It is probably 2 call on average. That's more than half.
Which makes it a really good marketplace for phone sales because a lot of phone sales is a 2-3 call touch. But it's not really saturated. I think I read last year that the number 1 job growth in Colorado was roofing and number 2 was solar. So the industry is really expanding. There's not a lot of great options for installers right now. There's a handful of big companies that are doing it well. It's a really hard market for the small guy, would you say, for a small installer?
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
We moved, or we expanded to Denver off of an acquisition. So we acquired a company that really struggled in that market, and it took us a good year to pick it up, and now we've been there 2 solid years beyond that. So 3 years in Denver, and for us it was like, okay, we haven't expanded in 3 years because we're pretty conservative in the way that we expand and grow. And now it was like, okay, well, I think we're ready to spread our wings and try something else out because we felt like we had this down, and we're going to have a huge year there.
I love it. 3 marketplaces that some people tend to overlook that all your sales orgs are really thriving. And I had a great chance 2021 to spend a lot of time with your sales organizations. I can say that they just think the world of you, Jake. I mean, they have a very high opinion of you. Their trust with you is really, really high. I know the leaders haven't gone anywhere. They've been with you for a long time. I think that says a lot about the quality of work that you do. And you're really thriving in 3 markets that have not been easy for people. Utah, Las Vegas, and Colorado. Great job. John Gibbs, Jake Kilgore, One Solar, Door Con.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.